Welcome to another episode of Narayan's BGG podcast. I'm your co-host Advaya Narayan Sharma.
I'm the co-host Vivek Narayan Sharma. I'm the father. Advaya is my son.
And today I'm going to be discussing and expressing the views on a very important topic that is for the students and colleagues across the world, like in colleges, universities, schools, and various kinds of systems.
Yeah,
And
most of the time we discuss the perspective.
Yeah.
The things which I see from my perspective and the same things which others see from his own perspective. So we may agree to agree, we may agree to disagree, but at the same time there is a collaboration in understanding that we are able to talk to each other, try to understand each other, exchange point of views so that we could bring our work together better.
So the topic that I'm going to be speaking on is the kind of the method to test your cognitive ability or your physicality, and that's one word: exam. Now exam is a type of a assessment that is like to measure the test takers' like knowledge or skill. It's in other words, for the aptitude. Now there are lots of exams. School ke exams bhi hote hain. There is
Advaya, you have forgotten to tell the topic name. Today's topic name that you have given to us is Perils and Perils of Exams.
Exactly.
So what we are going to talk about, what Advaya is going to mainly talk about, and I am going to contribute, is the thrills with regard to examinations and the perils also. Sometimes there are do's and don'ts, there are side effects, there are good things and bad things simultaneously. There is a light, then there is a shadow. So all those things happen simultaneously. The only difference is between the degree, or whether we are gaining too good or we are losing too much. So it depends. So Advaya, now it is over to you. You talk about your perspective.
So this issue on the exams is very much complicated, whether it's for good, whether it's for like bad. And so as it's mentioned, like some people would inherit some things from during the time when they are trying so hard to even nail for the IIT, or whether it's for various kinds of aptitudes, whether it could be in form of AP exams or SATs. While others, it's kind of like a harm.
You cannot say it's a harm, because ultimately, how do you examine the competence a person has? How do you know that the person is competent enough to do a particular kind of job? So there are tests, there are various methods to determine whether a person can complete a particular kind of job, whether he or she is capable to take that kind of a job or not. So ultimately, that aptitude test is one area, means in detail examination of a person's caliber, capabilities in regard to a subject matter is another area. So a general aptitude test is something, all right, you must be aware about your social surroundings, your political surroundings, your surrounding areas and various other things. But then subject specific, suppose I am a lawyer, then I must be tested whether I am equipped with the knowledge of law or not. So if there is no test, there is no exam, then how would the persons would be, or people would be tested whether they are competent to handle a particular task or job or not? Therefore, exams are a necessary ingredient to understand what a person it is, and whether means whatever has been taught to a person or to the whole class of the persons, whether they have learned something or not, or they were just passing time. You may be attending a lecture for maybe 2 hours, but you might not have heard anything in your brain. So you are hearing from one ear, throwing out from the other ear, but nothing is stopping in your brain. So retention is, how do you test it? So there has to be a method. So exam is just one method to test it. So either it is by way of examination or by way of, there are various other methods also. Means certain countries have evolved into no examination zones, which you will point out So therefore there are other methods also, and these are scientifically discovered methods. But we are having examination method by and large in all sections of our society for a very long time period. Maybe you can enlighten what better method could be there.
Yeah. Now for my experience, like before any examination begins, like in the school, people are like hype. They are in the hype. They are board the hype train, where they discuss lots of things about the syllabus, and they excite, they shout, they joy, they joyfully, merrily. They also even fear about.
That's all part of the whole exercise.
Yeah.
There's cheer and fear both.
Yeah. Yeah. They also even give some. They also very much make a very good make this kind of mindset that you will only focus on this and not on other things before the exams. Like during my time in this midterm exams, so I halted my gym and other activities so that I could so that I could have time to focus on exams. Now there could be various kinds of advantages that I would have with this kind of timetable, and disadvantages. Like, for example, like in the advantages, more time would be saved for like preparing various kinds of concepts. But there is a disadvantage that you are missing out on other activities and other stuff, and including improve your health.
Right.
Your awareness on the health is also not there. Because right now you're aiming for the cognitive ability of your brain, not for the betterment of your body right at this moment.
But then this is only a temporary situation. It occurs always in everyone's life.
Yeah.
Suppose your mother was a software engineer, now she's a manifestation coach.
Yeah.
So when she was a software engineer, it once happened that she was in office for 72 hours continuously. She was to deliver a project. And she stayed in the office. She was managing a team of several, around 3 dozen people, and then she had, divided that team into several parts. So they will come and go. They will all have shift of 10 to 12 hours each, and therefore they would, keep on segregating the work. So it was your mother's exam. That 72 hours she was continuously working on the project, and she had to deliver.
Yeah.
So similarly, when we look at it, we are not talking about the examination in college or schools. We're talking about the real life examination. I get a brief late in the evening, which is containing maybe 1,000 pages, and I have to argue in the morning.
These kinds of
So
deadlines.
then what should I do? I might have to go to a dinner, but at the same time, what takes precedent, what takes the importance? So therefore the brief which has come to me has taken the important part, so I will have to leave other parts for that period of time and prepare that brief. So similarly, it is good for examinations also. It is only for that short period of time that you start focusing in one direction, so that you could retain whatever knowledge you are developing. You need to retain it in order to answer the questions which may come to you, so that you do not fall or fail in answering the questions, or you do not remain deficient in answering the question. So it is only for this small period of time that you have to just focus in one direction, and then keep all the other activities adjourned or postponed till the time exams are completed. So it is only for that short period of time. For example, you had prepared for your exam just now, and then you have again retained your activities.
This gives me a little reminder of how deadlines work. Basically in real world, or whether it's for a job, or if you're hanging out with some people, and all of a sudden you have received a mail that you have to complete this project or research work by the end of the day.
So this is all part of life. So the preparation starts from the very beginning. So when someone is in school, thereafter in college, school is the beginning, college is the midterm, and then when you are in professional life, there are various things you have to perform. So you really don't think about it, how much time would it take?
No. Now, how hard is it to imagine a world without that kind of the papers and the pen, where you use the pen for writing down the answers and get grades A, B, C, or F.
The answer to this, in my mind, would lie in several, the scattered manner. Because in coming time, maybe in another 10 years' time or 20, 15 years' time, we will take a shift that there will be no paper and pen. Everything would be converted to an online thing, or maybe Sattu would be on the electronic media.
And it has already
So
started.
that's one part. And then second part, to which you say that the grading system, the assessment system that is there with regard to the examination, that might remain there. So there are certain countries where at the school level there are no examinations at all.
Yeah.
Even at college level, the assessments are they are varying in degree. So therefore, they are granting the assessment in relation to their day-to-day activities, their participation, extempos, how they are performing with regard to their subject knowledge. But then they are not tested by way of examination.
Yeah.
So they are tested on various parameters, but not by way of examination.
Yeah.
So those are scientifically developed methods which are good for certain set of countries, and it might be good for our country at the same time. But we must understand that we are a country of population of around 140 crore people,
Yeah.
and out of which around
Majority of them are
90
youths.
crore are
Youths.
Yeah, more than 90 crore are youth. And that youth population, out of this, much of the population is also below 18. So in such a scenario, to implement a complete restructured education system where no examination is taking place, and at the same time you are not able to assess and understand what is the caliber, capacity of a personnel, and with regard to employability, how do you really employ people whom you cannot assess, whom you do not have any assessment at all. So there has to be certain benchmark, even though for the employer, that they could understand that this person is capable, calibrated for this particular task. So right now there is no other method, but coming time we may see some new evolved method. We need a very empowered education minister in India who could bring about such changes.
Yeah, and
would you want to be one? No, don't be shy.
No.
One should be always ready to accept bigger tasks, bigger challenges, and deliver. It gives you right impetus, right power. Society is built on the basis of the confidence of people who have fortified society into a developed and a methodical society.
Yeah.
So the no examination is without any method will not help. But if there is any other sustainable method through which the assessment can be made, the examinations can be given a go by. They may be said like they may extinguish, just like dinosaurs.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of which, examinations are not only the things that you would find in your desk, like the question papers. There are various kinds of examinations, which does not even require these kinds of items. Like in sports, we can say when we are testing someone else's physical abilities, like for example, in the case of jumping or various kinds of workouts or push-ups or cardio. There isn't even a usage of paper involved. There could be a PE teacher.
So mostly you're concerned about using a paper and pen in the examination. So that situation we would resolve in coming 5 to 10 years or 10 to 15 years time. There would be no paper because we have already transitioned into a society where most of the things are done online. Then there are large interfaces, computer, internet, and everything. And in coming 10 years time, there would be a leap from what system, binary computer system that we are using. It will be converted into the quantum computers.
Yes.
So that would be a large scale production. This would be 1,000 times high speed work on a quantum computer, thousands or maybe lakhs of times, million times is a higher speed than the binary computer. So then when we evolve in that scenario, so we would see the world would be totally different from what it is today. We might see the cars flying in the air. So we might possible within my own lifetime. And maybe you would have a couple of them. Then we will have to have a driving license for a flying car. So there are various possibilities in coming times. In last 20 years, the world has changed remarkably, exponentially. And I'm seeing that by the time we are in 2020, 2040, the world would have changed substantially from what it is today.
Yeah.
So you will see all these that are your concerns.
Yeah. Right now we are in the present, so we should,
Okay.
we should focus on the present for the moment.
Yeah, I
So-
agree with you.
Yeah. So actually we were just spending time talking about the future. Now,
So you tell you
Yeah.
wanna conclude the talk because we
Yeah.
have already completed some 60
Yes.
minutes. So
I would
your
just
last
give you
2
some
minutes.
read that for now, right now, that projects, research projects, they are on the rise. Like they're gaining more value, while the value of these kinds of exams are diminishing. Like for foreign admissions, getting prestigious scores in exams is not enough. Like because nowadays it's very much easier to get higher scores. Like check my school's average for board exams. It has now gone above 90%.
Yeah.
I have got 90% too in board exams, and it was
Yeah,
easier to get it.
94.
And now compare that to like 1980s, 1990s, and see the difference
Yeah.
of how easier board exams have got. Now,
Maybe there is another perspective how smarter people have become. The youth brigade has become
this
the exams may not have become easier,
yeah,
but the prowess and the smartness of the youth has become
like so many methods
Realistic.
were been like so many methods were being developed in studying easier than before, and it has been applied to every kind of things ever since. Now there is ChatGPT, of course, but we'll get onto that later. But I'm speaking, there are so many methods nowadays that they would like save some time for other things and help you in studying for the exam very efficiently without the need of taking that much of time. But it doesn't mean that you would just prepare instantly in a day and just get all of this. There still needs to be some progress.
So every person has to devise his own way, as per his own intelligence, capability, grasp on subject matter, understanding. So depends on various factors which differ from each individual. These are the variables on which basis the task can be determined.
Now exam is just one level before getting your delicious degree.
Delicious degree.
Yeah. Whether it's for Cambridge or Oxfordshire or for various LLUs or
Harvard is still tested. They like to have only high grades.
There's
despite whatever you may have, but at the same time in your class 10th and 12th they see what was your grading. If you are having lack of grades and lower grades, then in that case you are not going to get admission in Harvard.
But I'm finding sometimes like this, like sometimes even richer people's kids, even though they haven't done anything exceptional, or they just get below average grades, they still get
Richness is no guarantee of intelligence or smartness.
Yeah. In some other ways, you have to be exceptional. Like apart from the test, you have to do well in essays and various kinds of curriculums and various internships.
Right.
Yeah.
So Advaya, I think you can have a concluding remark. And
So
then
I
we can close the talk today.
Yeah. So I can conclude that exam is just one level of like testing. Like there's so many levels that would come after you just give this paper or question and answer kind of like sheet or grade you get in schools and colleges, and afterwards you find yourself with this kind of exam, like the exam of your life, like ranging from various kinds of projects, deadlines, and also some time to save for your health.
Like the health exams.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the message you want to give?
So the message I would like to give is that to students that they should not worry about the exams at this time, because now there are so many methods of like doing the exams easily. All it just needs is that the focus in the mind and no distractions required. You should not like take exams for like granted. Like you just prepare entirely for this exam and not gain any knowledge afterwards, and you just basically forget half of the stuff that you have known before the exams. So So after all, the exam is just about testing someone
Yeah.
else's knowledge.
Well, I will add to what Advaya is saying. Focus is one area, very strong area. Of course, this is there.
Yeah.
Another area is planning.
Yeah.
That you plan. Advaya has also talked about this. That if you plan your exam in a particular manner, thereafter you can continue your activities. You don't need to leave your activities for attempting the examinations.
Yeah.
So you can continue. Maybe you can reduce the time for your activities, but at the same time you can continue. But if you plan better,
Yeah.
plan and execution. Mere planning will not be suffice. Planning and execution, and then to plan you need intelligence. To execute you need determination. And for all these things you need. What is
Yeah.
the most important thing for a student? Discipline. That I think that I should do this. I decide that I would do this, and then I do this. That's the discipline. So if we are capable with we are empowered with the discipline, then everything is achievable within a hand's distance.
Now,
So-
yeah. What about the most important integral thing, like
Okay.
application, applying the basis on a real life example or real life situation? You are applying your knowledge. You are applying your things in doing this. Not just the exams,
That is
but-
equally important. That is
Yeah.
equally important. I just talked about the necessary ingredient from the outside. You like the parameter. Like for work, you need a table to execute. Maybe without table also you can work.
Yeah.
So I just talked about what are the necessary ingredients. But of course, you need to develop that intelligence. You should be able to apply your mind. If you do not apply your mind properly, then you will not be able to complete the task that you are given.
Yes.
Then in that case, you need to develop that attitude.
And yes, one more thing, don't be afraid of failing. Failing is not going to do anything to hamper your life. It's not the end of the road actually. It's actually in fact a stepping stone for your
Yes,
success.
failure is the only thing that teaches you the best.
And the system has got
Winning never teaches you.
Yeah.
Winning only gives you celebration.
Yeah, it gives you
Failure
pleasure.
gives you teachings.
Yeah.
And therefrom you can have a bigger win if you learn how to win.
But that doesn't mean that C students are always better than A students.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They may have other competencies.
Yes. Some could build a win successful
Some
business.
would be good in business, some would be good in art, some would be good in vocal, singing. There are various pursuits, parameters that human can enjoy and use for its day-to-day life, vocation. So with that, I think we can close again.
Yeah. So this is Advaya Narayan Sharma. And
This is Vivek Narayan Sharma signing off today for seeing you for another day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.